तिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवन् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखावतंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much for joining in. I will send a message to Mataji, but till then we can start. We are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 7, and today we are on the last text of the scheduled incarnation. We are on text 53. Do I have a volunteer who could read the text? No volunteers? Okay. I can read the text as soon as I send the message to Mataji. Okay, so the text 53 is Mayam Varnayato Musya Ishwarvyanumuta Tata Shravata Shraddhaya Nityam Mayatmana Munyati. What was? Mayam, affairs of the external energy. Varnyataha, while describing. Amusya, of the Lord. Ishwarasya, the personality of Godhead. Anumodata, thus appreciating. Shravanta, thus hearing. Shraddhaya, with devotion. Nityam, regularly. Mayaya, by the illusionary energy. Atma, the living entity. Na, never. Muhyati, become illusioned. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of illusionary energy of the Lord. The science of learning a subject matter seriously is different from the sentiments of fanatics. Fanatics or fools may consider the Lord's activities in relation with the external energy to be useless for them, and they may falsify claims to be higher participants in the internal energy of the Lord. But factually, the Lord's activities in relation with the external energy and the internal energy are equally good. On the other hand, those who are not completely free from the clutches of the Lord's external energy should devoutly hear regularly about the activities of the Lord in relation with the external energy. They should not foolishly jump up to the activities of the internal energy, falsely attracted by the Lord's internal potential activities like his Rasa Leela. The chief reciters of the Bhagavatam are very much enthusiastic about the Lord's internal potential activities, and the pseudo devotees, absorbed in material sense enjoyment, falsely jump to the stage of the liberated soul and thus fall down deeply into the clutches of the external energy. Some of them think that to hear about the pastimes of the Lord means to hear about his activities with the gopis or about his pastimes like lifting the Govardhan hill, and they have nothing to do with the Lord's plenary expansion as the Purusha avatars and their pastimes of the creation, maintenance, or annihilation of the material world. For a pure devotee knows that there is no difference between the pastimes of the Lord, either in the Ras Leela of the or in the creation, maintenance, or the destruction of the material world. Rather, the description of such activities of the Lord as the Purusha avatars are specifically meant for persons who are in the clutches of external energy. Topics like the Ras Leela are meant for the liberated soul and not for the conditioned soul. The conditioned souls, therefore, must hear with appreciation and devotion the Lord's pastime in relationship with the external energy, and such acts are as good as hearing of the Ras Leela in the liberated stage. A conditioned soul should imitate the activities of the liberated souls. Lord Sri Chaitanya never indulged in hearing the Ras Leela with ordinary men. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the science of God, the first 9 cantos prepare the ground for hearing the 10th canto. This will be further explained in the last chapter of this canto. In the 3rd canto, it will be more explicit. A pure devotee of the Lord, therefore, must begin reading or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the very beginning and not from the 10th canto. We have several times been requested by some so-called devotees to take up the 10th canto immediately, but we have refrained from that in action because we wish to present Srimad Bhagavatam as a science of Godhead and not as a sensuous understanding of the conditioned soul. This is forbidden by such authorities as Sri Brahmaji. By reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam as a scientific presentation, the conditioned souls will gradually be promoted to the higher status of transcendental knowledge after being freed from the illusionary energy based on sense enjoyment. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 2nd canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Scheduled Incarnation with Specific Functions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group, about to join, and will be hearing the recording later on. Thank you, Mataji, for joining in and giving your precious time. We've read the text and the purport and the translation. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 7, which is Scheduled Incarnation, and the last text, which is text 53. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you are muted.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I think I'm audible now, hopefully.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Om Ajnanathmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashaita Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Chinam Tirayet Shrinvata Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantastho Hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Sudritsadam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, I don't know if it is Ekadasi tomorrow or today for you guys.
So
Nirjala
Mataji, we did
Ekadasi.
Ekadashi yesterday, but some of the, I think Pushti Margi, they do it today, while we, ISKCON Ekadashi was yesterday. So
Yesterday. Oh, good. So, wishes happy Nirjala Ekadasi. So, I think
Mataji, you did it today? Have you done it today?
today we completed. Today is Dwadasi.
Yeah. For us also today is Dwadasi.
Yeah. So, yesterday was Nirjal for us, and yeah, today is Dwadasi. All right. So let's get started, dear devotees, with the second canto, 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. I think today is the last verse. So we will just do a quick recap of what was done, and then we will get into our verse for today. Our verse for today is pretty simple, but we will definitely go through what that means and also probably look into one of the aspects from the purport. All right. So here, the first 39 verses are talking about various incarnations of the Lord. Like Varaha was first spoken about, and it was told that he is the form of all sacrifices. He lifted the earth when it got drowned into where? Garbhodaka ocean. And he pierced the first demon, who is it? Hiranyaksha with his tusk. That is what is Varaha Avatar. And then we learned about Suyagnya, who's the son of Ruchi and Akuti. Hmm. And then we learned about Kapila, who's the son of Kartama Muni and Devahuti. And what did he speak about? He spoke the science of self-realization, and he liberated Devahuti in her very lifetime. This is what Kapila did. And Dattatreya, he appeared before Atri and said, I have given myself to you. Therefore, he is Datta. And then we learned about four Kumaras. Four Kumaras, they appeared when Brahma underwent austerities for creation, right? That is when he wanted to create progeny. And through the four Kumaras also, he wanted the progeny be expanded. And then what happened with the four Kumaras is that they clearly established the spiritual truth, which was lost at the end of the previous term. And now we also learned about Naranarayan Rishi, who's the son of Murti and Dharma, right? And then obviously then we learned about Prishni Garbha, who was awarded Dhruvaloka to Prishni Garbha awarded Dhruvaloka to whom? Prince Dhruva. And then Prithu, he delivered the condemned King Vena from hell. He milked the earth and drew all kinds of crops as produce. Then Rishabhadev, we all know, he has the renunciation that is practiced by the other sages. He gave up material affection. He had controlled senses, and he was situated in the self all the time. So that is He's the son of Sudevi and Navi. Then Hayagriva. Hayagriva is whom? He is personified sacrifice. Of he's the personified sacrifices, Vedas and super soul of all demigods. All the sweet sounds of Vedic hymns came from his breathing. Whose breathing? Hayagriva's breathing. Now, Makshya. So this is all the incarnations that we've learned about already. So what I'm trying to do, dear devotees, for those who have just started the class, I'm just trying to recap those for your benefit and also for my benefit. So Makshi Avatar, he will come at the end of the Vaivashvata Manvantara to shelter all the living entities. And Vedas came out of Brahma's mouth when he was fearful of water of annihilation, and the Lord, enjoying those waters, protected the Vedas. Makshi Bhagavan. Kurma, he held up the Mandara mountain on his back in the Samudra Manthan, and then the movement of the mountain relieved the Lord of the itching sensation while he was partially sleeping. This is Kurma Avatar. And then Nrsimhadev, we all know, to remove the fear of the demigods, he killed the Hiranyakashipu by placing him in his thighs and piercing him with his nails. This is what he did. And he rolled his eyebrows in anger and showing his fearful teeth and mouth. Hari, Gajendra being attacked by the crocodile, prayed. Oh, he prayed to Hari. And then what did Hari do? Hearing Gajendra's prayer, the Lord appeared with his wheel, killed the crocodile, and lifted the elephant. This is what he did. Vamanadev, what did he do? He came as the youngest son of Aditi. He surpassed all the qualities of the Adityas on pretense of measuring 3 steps away all the land of Bali Maharaj. He took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. Bali did not think of anything besides his promise. He offered even his own body and head for Vamanadev. This is what he did, right? We all know that is a beautiful, captivating story of Vaman Avatar and Bali Maharaj. And then what happened? Hamsa Avatar. Hamsa Avatar, that is taught Hamsavatar taught Narada about Bhakti Yoga, which is especially understandable by the pure devotee surrendered to Lord Vasudeva. And then Manvantara Avatara comes, where he comes as a descendant in Manu in each Manvantara, and then he subdues the miscreant rulers, and in this way, the glory spread to all the 3 worlds through Manvantara Avatar. After that came Dhanvantri. Dhanvantri, we usually know he's the one who will be able to cure diseases in the living entities simply by his fame. And he causes the long life for the demigods as well. And he inaugurated the real science, the medical science, the real medical science, which is Ayurveda in this universe. Then Parashuram, he uprooted the Kshatriyas 21 times when they turned astray from the path of the absolute truth. Then Ramachandra, we all know he is the son of Dashrath Maharaj from the Ishwaku dynasty. He went into forest under his father's orders. He vanquished Ravana. Being aggrieved for Sita Devi, he glanced over the ocean with his red hot eyes. The ocean trembled in fear and gave way for Ram and his army. And he curbed the pride of Ravana along with taking his life away. Then comes our beautiful, enchanting Krishna. His appearance is being talked about. How he has his original beautiful hair that diminishes the burden of this earth. Along with, he came along with his plenary portion, Balaram. Then it is discussed that he performs superhuman activities. These activities cannot be imitated by anybody. Only Krishna can do such activities. That is why it is superhuman. It's beyond what we can think and perceive. And we cannot imitate it. So what did he do? He killed Putana. He overturned the cart. He uprooted the Arjuna's trees. He chastised Kalia. He saved the Vrajavasis from the forest fire simply by closing his eyes. The rope fell short when Mother Yashoda tried to bind him. He showed the universes to Mother Yashoda in his mouth, and then he saved Nanda Maharaj from Varuna. Then he released the Gopas from Vyomasura, awarded Rajavasis the promotion to the spiritual sky, and he proves his godhead. He stopped Indra Puja, and he also held Govardhan Hill when he was 7 years old. Then he beheaded Sankachuda, who kidnapped the damsels. So this is all the superhuman activities. We will learn all these pastimes in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srila Prabhupada has a separate book, Krishna book, where he wrote the brief description of the pastimes. And we also have our Acharya's commentaries to relish the thinking behind, or the reason why it did happen, what was the reason, why this happened at this time. So the nuances that they give, they are also very, very interesting, dear devotees. And with this learning of Krishna's pastimes, what should happen is eventually there should be smaran. The smaran should start coming to us, where we think about Krishna and Krishna's pastimes over and over. And this smaran first initially will be there for some time and it will go away. Then after good sadhana and good practice of all the Krishna conscious principles and getting more attached, more and more attached to hearing, what happens? The smaran will take a little more, it will become a little more effective, where you will be able to do that smaran for a longer period of time. At some point, it will just become study also. So that is the stage we are all looking for and hankering for, the stage of smaran about Krishna's pastimes. And then a day will come where we will also be able to reach the state of samadhi, where there is uninterrupted, thinking of Krishna's pastimes. Is just not going to be interrupted by any means. The day should come, and we will all pray for the same. That is what it is, dear devotees. In terms of Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, how his activities were superhuman, and it's impossible to imitate them. Then comes Vyasadeva. So he compiled the Vedas for the less intelligent people. He divided the Vedas into different branches, specifically for the Kali Yuga people. Then Buddha bewilders the minds of the atheists and preaches the sub-religious principles when atheists, being well versed in Vedas, destroy the planets. And Kalki, at the end of Kali Yuga, when there is no Harikatha, Brahmanas have become heretical and kings become Sudras, and there are no sacrifices. At that time, the Lord will appear as the supreme chastiser. Then you would have also seen about Gunavatars. Gunavatars meaning at creation, who's the creator? Brahmaji, Prajapatis. What happens is Brahma is the secondary creator, and then the maintenance is done by Lord Vishnu, and then annihilation by Lord Shiva. This is what the Gunavatars are. Now, there's a thing from 40 to 46 which kind of talks about it is impossible to understand the greatness of Lord Vishnu without his mercy. Without Lord Vishnu's mercy, we will not be able to understand him. It's being said that no one can describe Lord's greatness, even if one is able to count the atomic particles in this world, one cannot describe the greatness of Vishnu. First of all, it's impossible to count the atomic particles in this world. Okay. And here there is a connotation to say, even if one is able to count the atomic particles of the earth, one cannot describe the greatness of Vishnu, who effortlessly extended his leg beyond the three worlds, causing everything to tremble. And then we all know about this fact. Anantasesh could not reach the limit of Lord's glories. Even with his 1,000 mouths. He had 1,000 mouths. Even those 1,000 mouths were not enough for Anantasesh to glorify Lord Vishnu. Neither I, you, nor the sages born before you know the limit of his strength. What to speak of others? It's just impossible. That's what Ananta Sesh also says. Then 42nd verse talks about the fact only surrendered souls can know Lord by his mercy. An this unpretentious surrendered soul receives Lord's unlimited mercy, by which one can cross the insurmountable ocean of Maya and understand the Lord. But those who are attached to the body, uh, uh, but not those who are attached to the body, which is meant to be eaten by dogs and jackals. Again, dear devotees, by the performance of sadhana, what should happen to us? Slowly, slowly, the concept of I, me, mind, that should go away. Identification with the mind, identification with the body, identification with the qualities of the mind. These are definitely hindrance to the process of devotional service. So we definitely have to keep checking how we react in each and every circumstance. Are we too attached? Is our ego coming into play all the time when we tackle an issue? What is it that's going on within us? Are we proud? Are we egoistic? Are we getting angry? So these qualities have to subside and take a back seat through our progress in devotional service. This is something to keep in mind, dear devotees. Whenever we are hyper, we just have to take a back seat and calm it down. Of course, we don't want anybody to take advantage of us, but at the same time, uh, we shouldn't be spoiling our internal peace. Externally, anything can be done as long as internally you're calm and cool and satisfied. There is this difference, right? Externally, the snake may come out of its cocoon and it'll just do this just so others don't disturb him. But again, internally, he knows that he's not going to affect anybody. But at the same time, to protect him, he would just do this. But he's not going to create disturbance to the society by doing so. So we need to be very watchful that our state of mind is calm and peaceful so that we are able to perform our sadhana in a very nice way. Otherwise, the mind is already distracted. It travels more than the speed of the wind. It's very, very hard to subdue the mind. When agitating situations come, it's even harder. If we just uh, identify ourselves with the qualities of the mind. So that's why we have to be like that, just so that we can practice Krishna consciousness very nicely. Okay, all right. Now, surrendered souls are the ones who know the Lord. The list of great personalities, including Shiva, Swayambhu, Manu, Ambarish, Bhishma, Uddhava, Prahalad, Dhruva, Vidura, Arjuna, and many others who were successful in attracting Lord's mercy. And even lower persons can know the Lord by devotees' mercy. Not only that, not only they, even unqualified people can cross this material ocean and know the Lord if they are inclined to surrender to the pure devotees and learn from them. So, dear devotees, this is why association with pure devotees is important. They can make the impossible possible because they uh, already have that attraction towards Krishna. And for us to get attracted to them, so eventually we get attracted to Krishna. This is what we need to do. And also, only whoever has mercy can give mercy, right? So they are the ones who can pass the mercy on to us. So association with pure devotees, like our spiritual master or all other Maharajas, whenever possible, we should definitely get the association. Okay. Now, this is from 40 to 46. After that, what is seen 47 to 49, description of Paramatma and Brahman and establishing Bhagavan as the ultimate is spoken about. So, the qualities of the aspect of the absolute truth, that is Paramatma, Brahman, and Bhagavan, are being spoken. And then, what is being said here is that Bhagavan is the ultimate benefactor who bestows the result of all the process also. And Bhagavan bestows the process for yoga, jnana, and karma. Even if the body is finished before perfection, the result is carried over. That means the devotees of the Lord should not perform yoga or jnana for sake of attaining their result. Namely, they should perform prema for the Lord. So in this way, we are going to get the ultimate benefit or the ultimate result. And then from 50 to 53, what is spoken? It's just the summary of second canto, fifth chapter to seventh chapter summary. What is it? That's what is being spoken about. So, my dear son, I have thus described you in brief about Lord Hari, who creates the worlds and without whom nothing exists. So, we saw the scheduled incarnations and what is the purpose of the incarnation, and we also saw the fact it is impossible to understand the Lord's greatness without His mercy. If Vishnu's mercy is not there, then we will not be able to know about Vishnu. And then there is also description of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and ultimate is Bhagavan. And ultimate result that we should aim for is not karma, jnana, or yoga, but the ultimate is what? Ultimate is prema, and that is what we should strive for. After that, it's being said that distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Lord's vibhuti spoken by the Lord, describing it with determination in such a way it gives rise to bhakti in all living entities. Bhakti is characterized by hearing and chanting about Lord's Leela avatars, which are spiritual and blissful. But the pastimes of Purusha avatars dealing with Maya Shakti are all related to Maya. Should one describe Maya or not? Of course, we should understand the greatness of the Lord as well. So that's why the creation aspect of it is spoken, as we discussed. And then now the importance of hearing and understanding the creation pastimes. If one constantly describes Maya in relation to the Lord, remembers Maya or hears about Maya with proper faith, he will not be bewildered by Maya. So, in order to what do you call, in order to be out of Maya, we have to know how Maya functions, isn't it? And that's when we will be able to move out of the clutches of Maya. If we do not operate if we do not know how the Maya operates, then we'll be entangled in Maya because we think that's the right thing to do. But we should disentangle from this world of Maya. That's what, as devotees, we are learning in Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, that ultimately we are servants of Krishna, and that is whom we have to surrender to. All this material attachments are going to be there, but how to disentangle and how to attach ourselves to Krishna, right? This is what Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us. And more we hear Krishna Katha and more we start Smaran, then that is when slowly all our anattas are getting out of the way. Because to do Smaran, these unwanted things have to go out of our heart, right? If still we are having material attachments, and if we have attachments to, oh yeah, I want to buy a big house, I want to have many cars, I want to do this, I want to go on a world tour. If all these attachments are there, then it's just not possible for Bhakti Maharani to come into our hearts and help us remember Krishna. This is possible only when we slowly start becoming detached. And this bhakti is so potent that bhakti will itself take care of our detachment. We don't have to artificially strive, oh my God, I have to give up this attachment for so and so. No, it will automatically happen as you develop interest for hearing process. It all starts with hearing. The more we hear, the more we are going to progress in devotional service, because hearing, it just not only purifies, it just purifies the whole spiritual existence completely. For that, faith is very important. Without faith, when you start to hear, obviously nothing is going to get into your head. So build up that faith in hearing Krishna Katha and the teachings of all of our acharyas and Prabhupada. This is what we should do, dear devotees. Given this lifetime, let's spend more time hearing. All right. So, again, dear devotees, we will come back to the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm glad that Mataji did read the purport as well. So, it's going to be a quick revision of the purport, and then we can get going. Let me just go to the verse. 2.7.53. Okay. So the Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated, and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one should get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. And now, dear devotees, one of the themes that is also spoken about here is fanatics or fools may consider Lord's activities in relation with the external energy to be useless for them, and they falsely claim to be higher participants in the internal energy of the Lord. But factually, Lord's activities in relation with the external energy and internal energy are equally good, right? And on the other hand, those who are not completely free from the clutches of Lord's external energy should regularly hear the activities of the Lord. See, it's a very important point. What should they hear? They should hear about activities of the Lord in relation to the external energy. They should not foolishly jump to or the activities of the Lord's internal energy, falsely attracted by the activities as is such as Ras Leela. The chief reciters of Bhagavatam are very much enthusiastic about activities of Lord's internal potency, and the pseudo devotees absorbed in material sense enjoyment falsely jump to the stage of liberated souls and thus deeply fall into the clutches of Maya. So, dear devotees, so the more we hear about the greatness of the Lord, the more we hear about the pastimes associated with the external energy of the Lord, the more we are able to disentangle. And again, dear devotees, what did I mention? Eventually, smaran has to happen, right? And for the smaran to happen, detachment has to happen, right? I mean, that will have, you don't have to artificially do, as I said, but even for that to happen, we have to slowly get out of this attachment towards material objects, material things, and other. We may have attachments to certain qualities we don't want to let go of. So those things we have to detach ourselves from. Be it, say, for example, envy. Everybody, to some extent, has a little bit of envy. It's undeniable. And how much are we trying to get rid of it? That's something which is a work in progress. So for that to happen, we have to understand, yes, I have to hear about Lord's external pastimes. I mean, I have to learn about the pastimes of the Lord in relation to his external energy, and thus I get purified. This definitely has to happen. Purification is a slow process. It's not like, yeah, I mix this and this and I get purified. So that requires mercy. Purification requires mercy because Anadikal, we've been there, and so much has accumulated during every birth, right? It's very hard to disentangle from all of them. But glad, we should be very glad and feel very blessed that we are all in this process of Krishna consciousness, and we are all able to read the books of Srila Prabhupada. And through his mercy, be able to understand, yes, we are not this body, we are not the qualities of the mind, we are different. We are different from both. We are servants of Krishna, and our duty is to serve Krishna and relish Krishna. So this is what it is, dear devotees. So, as a vow, always try to keep in mind that doing our chanting the first thing in the morning is something that should never be avoided at any point in time. Just make it a rule. It's like brushing your teeth. Chanting the holy names of the Lord, the prescribed number of rounds. I mean, of course, minimum is 16 for us. Whatever the number that you have, if you're not initiated, just have that number and constantly try to increase or go over it, go above it. And with this, we will definitely attract mercy. Okay. Keeping this Krishna consciousness as the first thing in the morning will make our day beautiful. It will enliven our day. It will just give so much satisfaction inside, and it will make our day very fruitful, dear devotees. So always just keep that as precedence over anything else. Do not procrastinate to say, yeah, I will chant the rounds later in the day. No, no. Later in the day, it's going to be chaotic. uh, as we see the sun rising in the sky, people are going to be awake, and lot of things may come up in terms of confusion, chaos, or mandatory things that needs to be performed by you. All this will sprout during the day, and that is why we don't want to keep it for later in the day. Later in the day, as it progresses, evening comes, it's even more chaotic, and by the time night comes, we are very, very tired. No, I'm just not able to do the rounds properly as I would want. Okay, so let's keep that as priority and move that, and always take it forward and not backward. Forward meaning increasing the number of rounds or increasing your sadhana in some particular fashion or the other. Okay. In certain devotees cases, it might be like, I'm just overwhelmed with so much material activities. I'm just not able to give that attention that I would require. In such a case, the answer would be yes. Pray to Krishna that you get out of these material entanglements soon and take his lotus feet, because you want to be serving him and not the material energy of the Lord. So that's what it is. So we pray for the same, so that we slowly. It's not in our control. Whenever we are on an engagement towards something, even in my case, it's just beyond me. I feel somebody above is acting, and he's making me do these things. And with this comes craving, and with this comes, yes, I want to do more. I want to. And with your prayers, Krishna will sanction, slowly but not, I mean, slowly but surely, your prayers will be answered if you're sincere. So that is on that, dear devotees. And then we will go to the next paragraph from today. Mm, some of To hear about the pastimes of the Lord means to hear about his activities with gopis, about his pastimes like lifting the Govardhan hill, and they have nothing to do with Lord's plenary expansions as Purusha avatars and their pastimes of creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material worlds. But a pure devotee knows there is no difference between the pastimes either in Lasa Leela or in creation, maintenance, or destruction in this material world. Rather, the description of the mm, activities of the Lord as the Purusha avatars are specifically meant for persons who are in the clutches of external energies. Topics like Ras Leela are meant for liberated souls and not for conditioned souls. The conditioned souls therefore must hear appreciation and devotion of Lord's pastimes in relationship with external energy, such acts are good as the hearing of Ras Leela in the liberated sage. A conditioned soul should not imitate the activities of the liberated soul. Lord Chaitanya never indulged in hearing of Ras Leela with ordinary men. Again, dear devotees, the point here is that hearing subject matters like Rasa Leela are very elevated. Now we have so much in our heart, there's so much dirt in our heart that needs to be removed first, so that understanding the topics of Rasa Leela uh, can be enriched. And that's why the purer you are, when it comes to hearing topics such as Ras Leela, at that time it will not be mundane. We will not make aparat, right? Aparat is one thing where when we hear pastimes of the Lord and when he does certain things, it should not be mistaken it and taken it at the material platform. If you're not there mature enough to understand the subject matter, then we are better off hearing the pastimes of the Lord's external energy, and then getting purified. And when a stage comes where we'll be able to understand the Leela such as Ras Leela, what it is. It's all transcendental. And once we are in a position to understand that, then that is the time we should go. That's why Srila Prabhupada always says, yes, go through first 1 to 9 cantos, and then here the 10th canto. We may think, yeah, 10th canto is pretty easy, understandable, it's easily perceivable. But when it comes to the nine chapters, specifically creation and things like that, so complicated. No, actually, learning 10th canto, understanding the significance of 10th canto, and making the connections to the dots from 10th canto is very tough. So let's all, of course, we are all in the second canto now, and very soon we are going to learn Chatusloki Bhagavatam, which is very, very important. So again, dear devotees, we are all prepping so that we will be able to relish 10th canto very nicely and not take it at a mundane level. That's on the second paragraph from today's verse. And finally, it said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the science of God, the first 9 cantos prepare for the ground for hearing the 10th canto. That's why sequence is very important. This will be further explained in the last chapter of this canto. In third canto also, it will become more explicit. A pure devotee of the Lord therefore must begin reading or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from very beginning and not from the 10th canto. This is Srila Prabhupada's words. We have several times been requested by the so-called devotees to take up 10th canto immediately, but we refrain from such action. We wish to present Srimad Bhagavatam as the science of Godhead and not a sensuous understanding for the conditioned souls. This is forbidden by authorities such as Brahmaji. Sensuous activities, sensual understanding for the conditioned soul. By reading and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam as a scientific presentation, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the higher status of transcendental knowledge after being free from the illusory energy based on sense enjoyment. Very important, dear devotees. So to be able to understand and learn 10th canto is definitely not easy. This is something that we have to admit, and then go by this words of Srila Prabhupada. Obviously, you guys are all doing this. You devotees are so nice. You come here regularly as a group and read Srimad Bhagavatam canto wise in order. Very soon we'll be in 10th canto as well. So that's as far as the third paragraph goes. Now, dear devotees, it's being spoken about activities such as lifting Lord's Govardhan, Lord lifting his Govardhan. I thought we'll just learn a few lessons from Govardhan Hill pastime and then maybe call it off for today. Okay, so let's get started with that, dear devotees. Hope you're all okay. Just learning the Govardhan glories. This is what we will do. So many glories are there. Depending on the time constraint, we will just do what we can. Okay, so the first glory of Govardhan, fortune of Govardhan. The gopis are explaining the reason why Govardhan is very, very fortunate. Why it's fortunate? Govardhan is very fortunate because what does Govardhan have? Govardhan has the footprints of Lord Krishna and Balaram on it. That is why he's fortunate. Govardhan is special because there is constantly, it has the sparsha or touch of Lord's lotus feet. As soon as Krishna's touch is there, everything becomes lively. We can see also Kunti Maharani, right? She is praying to Krishna and says in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8, 39 to 40th verse, she says how the whole kingdom of Pandavas, they were flourishing and appeared beautiful only because of Krishna's footprints. Right? This is what it is. That's the glory. Our kingdom, she says, our kingdom is marked by your impressions of the lotus feet, and therefore it is appearing beautiful. But when you leave Krishna, it will no longer be so. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all aspects. All the cities and villages are flourishing in all respects. Why? And because there is herbs and grains in abundance. The trees, if you see, they are full of fruits. The rivers, if you see, they are flowing. The hills are full of minerals, and the ocean is full of wealth. All this is due to your glancing on them. So this is what Kunti Maharani says. So the glory of the fortune of the Govardhan is what? It's just the sparsha of Krishna and Balaram. That is why it is glorious. This is the first glory that is being spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. Then the second thing that is spoken about is the service attitude. So Lord Krishna and Balaram, they are always touching the Govardhan hill. The hill became Pramodaha, meaning very jubilant. See, when someone is very kind to us, or when we are sane enough to recognize that, appreciate their kindness, then we will be grateful for that person and will always be eager to return a service to them, isn't it? To the best of our ability. Govardhan, he is described by the gopis as Haridasa Varya. He is best amongst the servants of Hari. His divine grace very nicely mentions that Govardhan felt very obliged and wanted to give some presentations or gifts in return to Lord's benevolent act of placing his lotus feet on him. And he eagerly supplied a lot of gifts. What all he supplied? He supplied pleasing crystal water from his lakes, very, very soft grass. He supplied caves. He supplied edible roots. Patram pushpam phalam thoyam. Right? Yume bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhakti upagritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, or a fruit, or a water, I accept it. So, to the best of the ability, Govardhan offered all the above things with a great devotion to the Lord. So, for each one of us, Krishna has appeared in our lives and homes in the form of holy names, in the form of Gita, in the form of deity, and he is mercifully touching our lives. So, like how Govardhan Hill is grateful to the Lord's touch, and he's using all his energy in serving the Supreme Lord. That is the correlation that we should also be so grateful that we've got these teachings of Srila Prabhupada, our Acharyas, our Guru Maharaj, and that we are able to progress in this path of devotional service. Again, that is going to relieve us from the samsara, which we want to be tightly bound to. No. We understood, no. We should not be tightly bound to the samsara. We have a separate goal. We are servants of Krishna. And if Krishna willing, we shall continue to do more and more in terms of offering services to Krishna and our spiritual master. Then, service attitude. And now, Govardhan not only served Krishna and Balaram alone, he knew the Lord is pleased. And Krishna is pleased when one serves his dear devotees. So Govardhan, he served what? He served all the inhabitants of Gokula, the cows, the calves, the gopas, the gopis, with great respect. Right? Offering respect is what is to be noted here. Quite often, when we do service with motives, we tend to be casual and careless over a period of time. As a result, after some time, we are going to lose taste and the opportunity to serve as well. So we should be careful that one and only motive is to be pleasing Krishna and not for getting any name or fame. The glories of Govardhan is that it could not move around. He was just a hill to be situated in just one position. So now, if there is a hill, what's going to be a problem? And it's not able to move. He has to face a lot of onslaughts of scorching heat, heavy rainfall, and thunderstorms. But Govardhan never complained or stopped the service. But with great patience and tolerance, he carried the service without any complaint. There might be situations in our life where our physical health is not going to cooperate or it would make us immobile. We might not be able to do the same services which we were able to perform years ago when we were younger. But we can take inspiration from Govardhan dear devotees to serve Lord in all conditions. If we have a simple desire and determination to serve Him, then it is possible. Srila Bilvamangara Thakur, in his Govinda Damodar Stotra, verse number 38, he says, if one is lying down and chanting the holy names of the Lord assures that such persons will definitely reach to Him. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, there is no hard and fast rules for chanting the holy names of the Lord. So even if we are not able to physically move, we can still chant the holy names of the Lord. This is, so first we saw Krishna and Balaram touched the lotus feet of, were touching the Govardhan hill with their lotus feet. Their sparsha was there all the time upon this Govardhan hill. So because of that, Govardhan felt jubilant. And what did he do? What did he do in return? So he offered patram pushpam phalam thoyam. Like that, he offered whatever possible, like a clear lake, fruits, vegetation, roots, all that he offered with devotion. Now, not only did he serve Krishna and Balaram, but what did he do? He served the devotees or residents of Gokul also. Krishna likes when you serve his devotees. That is what he did next. Again, the key word to be noted here is offering respect. Now with Govardhan, he was a hill. He couldn't move. And because he couldn't move, he could be affected by scorching heat, sunlight, rainfall. But even then, he was determined to do his service. Likewise, we have to be determined to do our service irrespective of what conditions may come to us. Dear devotees, this is not an easy sentence I speak in the class. Because when I say something, Krishna will test me for that. What situations are going to come to me? It could be very difficult to handle situations that may come, but I should be able to keep up this word and be able to serve the, the lotus feet of the Lord with unwavering attention and determination. And again, where does that determination come from? Only from our spiritual master and dear Krishna. Without them, we are nothing. And when we have this mood of surrender, impossible is possible. With this, we will conclude our class, dear devotees. Thank you so much for patiently attending this Srimad Bhagavatam class every day without fail. We sincerely pray that may your ruchi for Krishna Katha keeps increasing day by day. Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpa Tarupyasya, Kripa Sindhupya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for an excellent session today. We started from all the carnations, and then we went on to the stages of Smaran and how Krishna's pastimes include the various creations, not only the Leelas, but also the creation and manifestation and annihilation. And then the icing on the cake today, I learned so many new things, and especially the Govardhan Leela. I am now going to see Govardhan Leela as, with different eyes. That even if a Govardhan mountain who could not move could serve with so much determination and love. I think please pray that we can imbibe the mood of Govardhan and we can also be determined. Thank you so much, Mataji, for today's session.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Are there any other burning questions or comments before I conclude? There are no more questions or comments, then maybe we can call it a day. I think we have passed our hour. So thank you, Mataji, for today's session, and so nicely and sweetly and so nectarianly engrossing us for this 1 hour. Let us all unmute and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to glorify Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpa
Sarubhyasya kripa sandubhya eva cha patitanam bhavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Our Grace Radhika Kasturi Mataji ki jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare
Jai.